Chapter 1. John, Sarah, and Mike arrive at the edge of the Dublin Mountains as dusk gradually gives way to eerie twilight. Looming high above, the Hellfire Club appears as a menacing silhouette against the dimming sky, its notorious legends murmured on the wind that sifts through scraggly trees growing around the mountain's base. Even in this foreboding atmosphere, skepticism tempers their anticipation. They are experienced investigators, but find themselves inexplicably uneasy as they begin the ascent. The winding paths vanish into dense thickets of gnarled woods, underfoot crunching with the remains of autumn leaves. Cold, biting wind whispers through the gaps, carrying with it stories of the clandestine gatherings and nefarious rituals that supposedly took place in the cavernous belly of the hill. With each step upward, their flashlights create eerie shadows that flicker and bounce off the ancient stone visage of the Hellfire Club. As they reach the entrance, concealed expertly amidst tangled roots and rocks, Sarah pauses. Her flashlight picks up disturbingly well-preserved carvings, symbols intertwined with mystic obscurity that twist her guts, indicating they've found the right place. The team's resolve stiffens in preparation for their descent into the unnatural gloom, while the spectral echoes of the past greet them in those haunting depths. Chapter 2. The tunnel yawns before them, a smothering darkness spilling cold, damp air, and the musty scent of long-neglected places. Each step echoes, their sounds swallowed by the impenetrable blackness that seems both tangible and taunting. John takes the lead, his camera positioned deliberately, capturing every flicker of movement and shadow. With every cautious advance, tendrils of dread weave tighter around them as their steps move deeper into the earth. The flashlight beams skim the walls, revealing faded frescoes depicting ungodly scenes of ritualistic revelry. The colors, though muted by age, still echo the vibrancy of blood and sacrifice. Mike involuntarily steps back, his skin prickling at the sight. Sarah quickly, yet hesitantly, takes notes, her breath visible in the humid chill. Moments later, they stumble upon what seems to be a ceremonial chamber, its stone dais dominating the space, surrounded by what could have been sacrificial altars. Here, the air seems thicker, tinged with an inexplicable energy that hangs heavily around them. Was this where the rumored rites were conducted? The whispers of time echoing eternally in sinister harmony within these hollowed walls. Chapter 3. With heightened senses, the team pushes further, the pathway narrowing to little more than a claustrophobic crawlspace. They inch forward, anxiety brewing in their minds like a slow poison. It is there, in that obstructed tunnel, where Sarah suddenly gasps, stumbling upon disturbingly lifelike human effigies woven from straw and vine. Each effigy, disturbingly detailed, seems to quietly scream beneath layers of dust, playing tricks with one's perception of reality and emotion. Frozen in grotesque postures, these symbols of cursed art imply an old magic intended to bind or torment. The atmosphere turns electric with latent terror, each breath they take now tinged with the acridness of dread. The path continues onward, deeper still, as if the very mountain refuses to surrender its secrets easily. Sarah can feel the presence of something ancient and watching, just beyond the edges of consciousness, and they move forward only as one's primal fear is pushed aside by the need to understand what has gripped these hallowed walls for centuries. Chapter 4. Their progress is interrupted by a low, resonant hum reverberating through the tunnels, a sound reactive and rhythmic, like a heartbeat echoing from the earth itself. John, captivated yet unnerved, follows the sound instinctively, leading them towards its source despite an inward, insistent plea to turn back. The tunnel widens into another chamber, this one opened out to a finished excavation that seems eerily recent. Fresher marks hint at recent activity, imposing itself with a chilling implication. They are not the first visitors here, at least, not in recent times. Smeared across the walls are symbols unfamiliar even to John, who feels his mind teetering on an abyss of doubt and burgeoning fear. These signs glow faintly in the subdued light, almost pulsating in response to that unrelenting hum. A realization dawns on them all at once, the past corrupting the present, suggesting that the dark activities beneath the Hellfire Club have never truly ceased, merely evolved into something else. Could it be that they have shattered a delicate boundary, awakening something best left dormant? Chapter 5. The team's resolve tested, they venture further, down a steep staircase carved directly into the earth. The descent feels endless, with each footfall echoing into the abyss, speed dictated by urgency rather than confidence. They arrive in a sprawling grotto, a natural cathedral carved by the unseen hands of time and water. It's here, amidst the humid echoes and trickling sounds of unseen springs, that they sense a deeper magic woven between stone and shadow. The grotto's natural formations suggest places of worship, elemental in their splendor and horrifying in implied purpose. They stand transfixed, the air saturated with a scent that is maddeningly familiar, an incense of sacrifice. Perhaps, suspended above a dark pool at its heart, is an ornate stone lantern, an unlit symbol of perhaps monstrous divinity, a guardian of unspeakable rites. The realization that they have stumbled into an ancient, untouched shrine grips their minds with primal terror. What tributes were once offered here, and to whom? Chapter 6. Restless spirits seem to whisper through the silence as the investigators wade further into the mysteries of the grotto. Their determination is matched only by the growing apprehension curling like fog in their hearts. Each corner seemed to spawn questions unanswered for centuries, teasing them with the promise of discovery. The lantern's position, like a keyhole opening unto otherworldly vistas, beckons near. But their approach is halted by an unexpected shift in the air. It's as though the entire grotto were collectively holding its breath, waiting, cautious. Suddenly, a tremor beneath their feet quakes the shadows into dance, disturbing the once still waters. The flickering of their flashlights suggests shapes moving across the walls, whether flesh or phantom, it's unclear. As they catch glimpses of what might be faces, anguished and soundless, stretching out beyond the stone walls, John is forced to acknowledge a truth he so desperately hoped to refute. The past has somehow borne witness to them, staring back through years of darkness. Chapter 7. Rattled but resolute, they press onward into a narrow passageway, descending deeper still. The air thickens with moisture, and an eerie cold, gnawing relentlessly at their resolve. Sarah leads through the claustrophobic vein of rock, fear-driven curiosity masking her internal dread. Ahead lies another antechamber, partially collapsed, revealing a tapestry untouched by decay, yet vibrating with latent profanity. It seems to undulate in the stagnant air, colors preserved in lurid fidelity, portraying grotesque figures locked in perpetual ritual. Each thread appears imbued with a forbidden story, strung across the ages. The tapestry exudes an aura of malevolence, drawing them closer against their better judgment. In the dim glow, its threads seem to hiss ancient incantations, suggesting a history both abhorrent and unending. This remnant of lament seems to stitch together the weaving of time, evidence of a symbiosis between the cults of the past and a darkness that finds no home in history books. Chapter 8. The team's investigations bring them no closure, but rather more questions than when they first descended into these hellish depths. John finds himself reviewing footage captured in hopes of untangling sense from chaos. Footage reveals fleeting shadows not present in memory, further feeding the pit growing in his stomach. Recognition spreads through them as they recall stories, the folklore speaking of watchers at the edges of sacred places, deterrents to the curious and reckless. It's then that a silent agreement forms between them. They have ventured too deeply into forbidden grounds stirred from slumber. Steeling themselves for their return to the surface, each step out of the echoes becomes an acknowledgement that some mysteries deserve respect, shrouded in the safety of uncertainty. But as they retreat, the question remains, have they captured echoes of the past, or awakened something that will haunt their waking and dream-filled hours alike? Chapter 9. Their return from the underground depths is accompanied by an unsettling quiet, both outside and within. The Hellfire Club, now softly dimmed in the engulfing humility of nightfall, stands as an empty sentinel over centuries of mystery lost to history's pages. Returning to familiar grounds doesn't dispel unease. It clings to them like the lingering sense below. While reviewing the material, whispers are heard in playback, layered beneath their voices, a multitude of tongues, impossible to unravel, each gasping for acknowledgement. Mike separates himself from the task, clutching at feigned rationality. He knows what he has heard and what it means. The archaic cadences belonged to no living language, least of all one known to modern ears. Silence is their pact. The choice is theirs, believe or ignore the signs. A choice, Mike realizes, he must make for himself. Chapter 10. Even as daylight returns, the Dublin mountains remain oppressive, its air heavy, with an apology, unspoken for dredging up the buried, better left alone. The journey home offers no release, only reflection mired in acknowledgement of what was glimpsed through those stone corridors. Sarah pulls from her bag, along with her notes. She unveils the small trinket she retrieved, an ill-advised keepsake. Its surface, though crude, is smooth from reverent touch, though now it feels perilously alien. A thought, void and unwelcome, crosses her mind. These emblems of their findings connect them more tangibly to horrors their souls felt beneath. The path they've chosen, uncharted and fraught with veiled lessons, denies them any illusion of security. The blankets of night offer no comfort, but instead a dwelling place for words not yet spoken, a playground for ancestral fears invoked in sweat-drenching dreams.